What's up, Math 8? Thanks for tuning in with another episode of Math with Mullins. Today we're going to be looking at lesson 1.5, Order of Operations. Today we're going to focus on day 1, which is just your normal positive and negative whole numbers. And when you tune back in tomorrow for day 2, we're going to focus on order of operations with fractions. Let's go ahead and talk about what those order of operations are first. Remember, we follow order of operations by using please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or PEMDAS. So we have parentheses first, which look a lot like this. Either you can have curved parentheses or even these little bracket things. Anytime there is something in there, we have to follow the PEMDAS order again. So if there's a lot of stuff within the parentheses, we want to make sure we're following order of operations. Next up, we have exponents. That's how many times the number is multiplied by itself. For instance, one of our first examples will look like this. Negative 3 squared just means negative 3 times negative 3, okay? You can also use your exponent button on your calculator, and I'll show you how to do that in class today. Multiplication and division, we do those at the same time. We want to make sure we're going from left to right. Again, we'll see some examples with that. And then addition and subtraction, also done at the same time, but going from left to right. We're going to copy these examples in our notebook and try them together. So if you haven't done so yet, let's take time now to pause the video, try these maybe on your own first, and when you're ready to check, click play. All right, so I'm writing down our order of operations just as a reminder of my checklist. This first example, I don't have any parentheses like I don't have any operations within the parentheses that I have to work on, so I'm going to check parentheses off the list. But I do have some exponents right here. This negative 3 squared is equal to 9. Once I solve that, I'm going to bring down everything else. Just a reminder, negative 3 squared means negative 3 times negative 3. Now that I've done exponents, it's time to move on to multiplying and dividing. I do have something of that sort. I have multiplication. 9 times 5 is 45. And then last but not least, I'm going to bring down this negative 2. And just to solve this, negative 2 plus 45 is equal to 43. Our next example, again, going down the list, I'll do this example in red. No parentheses or operations within that. No exponents, but I do have some multiplying and dividing right here. Negative 4 times negative 1 is equal to positive 4. Now I'm just going to bring down everything else like I see it and then continue solving. I'm done with multiplying and dividing. Last but not least, order of operations, adding and subtracting. I got to start with these two first, ordering from left to right. 2 plus 4 is 6, and then I'll do 6 minus 4, which is equal to 2. Here are our next two examples. Again, we would like to take time now to pause the video, try these on your own, and when you're ready to check, click play. All right, order of operations. Let's start with parentheses on this first one. I do have something here in the parentheses. This is negative 4 minus 6. I'm going to get negative 10. I'm going to then bring down everything else exactly like I see it. That's my main cautionary thing I want you to keep in mind. No exponents, no multiplication or division, but I do have addition and subtraction from left to right. So let's start with these two. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1, bringing down everything else. Forgot that parentheses up here, my bad. And then now I have 1 minus negative 10. That's actually equal to 1 plus 10, which is equal to 11. Going on to my second example, we'll do this one in blue. I do have some parentheses, and I have parentheses on both sides. So I'm going to start with the parentheses here and then work on parentheses over on the right side. The first set of parentheses is negative 4 parentheses 2. That just means multiplication. So that is negative 8. Notice I still have a bracket around that, so I'm going to keep that negative 8 in the bracket, bring my division sign down, and then negative 2 plus 6 is equal to 4. So now I have this negative 8 divided by 4, and that is equal to negative 2. Here's our third example. Again, taking time now to pause the video, trying these questions on your own, and when you're ready, click play. All right, showing my order of operations, I do have some parentheses, so I'm going to take care of those first. 3 minus negative 3 actually means 3 plus positive 3, and that's going to give me a 6. I'm going to bring down everything else and then continue on with my order of operations. Next up is exponents. 3 squared is equal to 3 times 3, which is 9. And then finally, I bring down that minus 6, 9 minus 6 is equal to 3. Over here on my second example, I do have quite a bit in parentheses, and notice how I have multiple things in parentheses, but it's all subtraction, so I'm going to work this from left to right. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. So again, bringing down everything exactly like I see it, and then continue to work in my parentheses. Negative 8 minus 2 is negative 10. Last but not least, I'm going to multiply negative 10 by negative 5, and I'm going to get positive 50. Our last 3 examples I would consider as your challenge examples, so take your time on these, pause the video. When you're ready to click play to check your work, or if you have a question about something, go ahead and click play. All right, our first example, parentheses is what I'm going to start with. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. Then I'm going to bring down everything like I see it. Keep in mind, I now have negative 2 minus negative 1, which actually means negative 2 plus positive 1, and that will give me negative 1 as my result. Over here to the right, I've got some parentheses, but within those parentheses, nothing of importance. So let's go into exponents. Negative 4 squared means negative 4 times negative 4, which is 16. Now I've got 16 plus negative 4 divided by 2. Be careful here. Order of operations says multiplying and dividing first, so I'm not going to worry about my 16 plus yet. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Now I can do 16 plus negative 2, which is equal to 14. My final example down here, I don't have anything in parentheses until I get to the very back. So let's start here. 5 plus negative 1 is 4. Bringing everything down exactly like it is to make sure that I'm still following order of operations. The next part I need to do is this multiplication piece. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Putting that in parentheses. Finally, I have 2 minus negative 12, which just means 2 plus positive 12, and that will give me a positive 14. That is going to conclude our notes today on Order of Operations Day 1. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.